What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another recap. Today we're gonna do Thursday night's games. In the last video, I did Wednesday night's games. I'm gonna do Thursday night's games tonight, or in this one. So there are only 4 games on Thursday, so this is gonna be super short. But let's get into it. So first one is Nuggets and Magic, and Magic won this one by 11 points, 115 to 104. But oh wow. Nikola Jokic actually played in this one, and they still lost? That's unbelievable. I thought it would be because Jokic didn't play. Usually the Nuggets lose those games if Jokic doesn't play. But he was there, and they still lost. He had 29, 12, and 6. But Aaron Gordon was the player of the game with 37 and 13. So he actually outplayed Jokic in this game. But, yeah. And on the Magic side of things, just a shit ton of people scored in double figures. Paolo Banchero actually didn't play that well. He had 11 and 10. Did not actually play that well or score that much. He had Wendell Carter Jr. had 19. Cole Anthony had 17. Jalen Suggs had 11. Mo Wagner had 12. Franz Wagner had 10. And Bull had 17 off the bench. So it was just more of a team effort from the Magic. And that ultimately beat the Nuggets. So next game is Bulls and Nets. As you guys might know, if you watched my last recap, as you guys know, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving both got traded from the Nets. Kevin Durant got traded to the Suns, and Kyrie Irving got traded to the Mavericks. So the Nets have no All-Stars on their team right now. And I don't count Ben Simmons as an All-Star because he hasn't been an All-Star since 2020. So, yeah, I don't count him as an All-Star. But anyways, on the Bulls side of things, Zach LaVine actually was the leading scorer for them with 38, and he actually played extremely well. So, what was his shooting percentages? I guess the Nets, he was 16 of 25 in 2 of 7 from 3. So that's actually a very efficient game from Zach LaVine, which is not very common. Zach LaVine doesn't usually shoot it that efficiently, but shout out to Zach LaVine for a really good game. On the Nets side of things, Spencer Dinwiddie had 25 and Cam Thomas had 20. Joe Harris had 18 and Yuta Watanabe had 14. In this game, Mikal Bridges and Cam Thomas didn't make their debuts in this game, but they did make an appearance in the game tonight. So, we'll cover that in the next recap. But yeah, so just more of a team effort from the Nets overall. So shout out to the Nets for actually winning that one. The Nets are probably going to still make the playoffs this year. Because they have a lot of, they don't have any All-Stars, but they have very good role players. Very good. And now they got Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, and Dorian Finney-Smith and Spencer Dinwiddie. Yeah, I mean that's a lot of borderline All-Star players on one team. Even though none of them are All-Stars or have ever been named All-Stars, they're bordering that category. Like they're barely not an All-Star. Like Spencer Dinwiddie has been averaging almost 20 points a game this year. Mikal Bridges, especially with Chris Paul and Devin Booker being out, definitely carried the Suns a little bit, and he played extremely well. So, and he's still one of the best defenders in the league. So, there's that. Yeah. Anyways, next game is 1 second. Hold on. Thing kind of glitched out for a minute. Forgive me for this. Okay, there we go. Next was Suns versus Hawks, and the Hawks won this one 116 to 107. Josh Okogie actually led the team in scoring off the bench with 25. Excuse me. DeAndre Ayton had 23. And Ish Wainwright had 17. I have no idea who that dude is, but... And then on the Hawks side of things, Trae Young had a double-double with 36 and 12 assists. Clint Capella only had 7 points, but he had 17 rebounds. John Collins had 16. DeJounte Murray had 19. And Emeka Okongwu had 11. So, just a pretty good win for the Hawks. Quality win for the Hawks. And then finally, last game of the night was Bucks-Lakers, and Bucks won this one, as per usual. Well, it's funny because the Bucks lost the last matchup that they had earlier this year in Milwaukee. But yeah, the Bucks definitely got their revenge on this one by winning the matchup in LA. Giannis obviously did his thing with 38 and 10. That's typical Giannis numbers. Dominant numbers. Chris Middleton had 22, and Drew Holiday had 18. For the Lakers, LeBron did not play in this game, actually. Dennis Schroeder led the team in scoring, and he also had 12 assists, 25 and 12 assists. Anthony Davis had 23 and 16 rebounds, and Lonnie Walker had 15 points, and then Austin Reeves had 18 points, actually. But yeah, just quality win for Milwaukee, you know? But yeah, even though this one's kind of, so I wanted to, how do I feel about some of these trades? So, just to kind of extend this because it's a little bit short. The Kevin Durant trade, the Suns gutted a lot of their roster to get Kevin Durant. But it's funny because they actually didn't get as much they actually didn't give away as much to the Nets as they probably would have if this happened in the offseason. So, because this was a trade deadline trade and they were kind of rushing to get this one through, the Nets didn't really get as much as they probably could have. And that's saying a lot because the Nets got Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, who they eventually traded to Milwaukee, and like 4 first-round picks and a pick swap, which is a lot, but it's definitely not as much as they could have gotten for Kevin Durant. They could have gotten even more picks probably. So, yeah, or maybe some more bench players from them. So, yeah, the Suns basically gutted their they gutted their depth to get a third star, basically. So they kind of have a big three with Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant. So, and they still have DeAndre Ayton as center. So, but also T.J. Warren came in the deal with Durant. So, he used to be on the Suns actually. So it's kind of quote unquote returning to Phoenix. He is having a second stint with them. So, yeah, so we'll see how that goes. That's going to be very interesting. And like I said, with Dallas getting Kyrie Irving, Dallas also didn't have to give up nearly as much as people thought because again, it was a trade deadline deal. So they traded Kyrie to the Mavericks in return for Dorian Finney-Smith and Spencer Dinwiddie, and I believe 1 first-round pick and 2 second-round picks. I believe that's what the trade was. So, definitely not as much as they could have gotten for a guy like Kyrie, but, yeah, so that's interesting. What else? Those are the 2 big ones. There were a couple of smaller ones as well, actually, there's another big one. It's like a 3-team deal. Russell Westbrook the Lakers were actually able to get rid of Russ. They traded him to the Jazz, and I think the Jazz got a couple of picks as well. The Timberwolves definitely got the worst out of all of it, because all they got was Mike Conley. That's like the only quality player they got out of it, which is unfortunate for them. But, and because Mike Conley's good, but he's old as well. So he's not the Mike Conley he used to be in Memphis. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's unfortunate for them. But and then the Timberwolves gave up D'Angelo Russell, Jared Vanderbilt. Well, the Lakers got D'Angelo Russell from the Timberwolves, Jared Vanderbilt and Malik Beasley from the Jazz. So they definitely, I think, got the best out of that deal. So, yeah, that's pretty crazy. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see if the Lakers are any better or whatever. We'll have to see. So, anyways, and also, the Celtics got Mike Muscala from the Thunder. And we traded Justin Jackson, who nobody gives a fuck about him. He was like the 13th guy on the bench. So we got Mike Muscala, who's like a borderline 7-footer who can shoot the three really well. So definitely, good move from the Celtics. The Clippers also got a couple of players themselves. They traded Reggie Jackson to the Hornets to get Mason Plumlee. So they got a backup big, which is good. They definitely needed one. Which just sucks. As someone who supported the Clippers for a while, it's sad to see Reggie go, but they definitely had way too many guards on that team, and they needed to get some bigger dudes. So at least at the center position, they have a lot of wings, but they don't have a lot of actual centers. All they had was Zubac. You know what I'm saying? And when Zubac went to the bench, they were basically forced to play small ball with Batum at center. So, and sometimes it worked, but most of the time it didn't. So. They traded John Wall back to the Rockets, right? I know how funny that is. John Wall talked a lot of shit about the Rockets on that podcast with, I forget who interviewed him. But he said he asked him, like, how was your stunt? How did you feel your stint with the Rockets was? And he said trash, completely trash. And now he got traded back to the Rockets for Eric Gordon. So Eric Gordon, I've been saying in the last couple of recaps that get Eric Gordon on a winning team, please, because he's like this veteran player that's wasting a couple good years that he has left on a shitty rebuilding Rockets team. But now he's on the Clippers. He's back where he started, back where it all started for him. He was drafted by the Clippers in 2009, I believe. He's back there now. So, and the Clippers, are supposed to try to contend for a title. So, they're trying to contend for a title. So, unfortunately, they've lost their last few games and it fell down to the 6th seed. But yeah, so, and then and then we also traded who else did we get? Or who else did they get? The Clippers. They got somebody. They got a third. Oh, yeah. Bones Highland. They got Bones Highland from the Nuggets, which is a great move, by the way. So, But, yeah. Anyways, I just wanted to kind of mention that. I mentioned all these trades real quick and what I think about some of these trades. Just to kind of extend the video because there's only 4 games on to cover, so... Anyways, thank you guys for watching this recap, and stay tuned for the final recap coming in a little bit. So, yeah. See you guys.